The dream of our founding fathers, fighters for independence, notably Anthony Nahoro, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe and Obafemi Awolowo, was for a united and indivisible Nigeria. The First Republic was aborted due to military incursion into politics, and the country went through a devastating civil war. Still, Nigeria emerged undivided. The Second Republic, headed by Alhaji Shehu Shagari, was also toppled, and democracy remained elusive due to military rule headed by Major General Muhammadu Buhari. General Buhari was eventually overthrown by General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, whose tenure led to varied political developments that eventually led to the birth of the Third Republic, headed by Olusegun Obasanjo in 1999. These political developments included the formation by the Babangida administration of two broad political parties, the National Republican Convention (NRC) and the Social Democratic Party (SDP), and an elected National Assembly. Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu was one of those elected into the upper chamber under the SDP.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu was one of those new breed politicians that burst into the scene during the transition to civilian rule by the Babangida administration between 1987 to 1993. So he came in that time as those who are called new breed politicians, who never had any political experience before, because the government then was trying to bring new breed people, young people who were never tainted by the old political animosities of the First and the Second Republic. And so he came on the scene and contested as a senator in Lagos State, and he won, and he became a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria then.
The annulment of the historic June 12, 1993 presidential election, generally believed to have been won by MKO Abiola and the SDP, gave birth to political struggles, especially from the southwest, to reclaim the people's mandate. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was a pivot of these struggles. The annulment of the historic June 12, 1993 presidential election and the subsequent months and years following the political struggles to reclaim the people's mandate.
I was therefore convinced that the commitment to civilian rule come August 27, 1993 was firm, settled and irrevocable. I could not imagine that the purported transgressions of the judiciary could possibly today. Nigerian polls crowd as democracy is put on hold.
The Epetedo Declaration, the arrests, clamped down on innocent protesters by the military, and then Abiola's incarceration by General Sani Abacha all brought Bola Tinubu's name and voice to the fore. Bola Tinubu's name was mentioned multiple times on Radio Kudirat over the years. On the 15th of May 1994, the National Democratic Coalition, NADECO, was formed to press for the revalidation of the June 12, 1993 presidential election and the reinstallation of all democratic structures. Bola Tinubu was with NADECO in exile, championing and funding the cause of pro-democracy and the battle to reclaim Abiola's mandate. Bola Tinubu was a pro-democracy activist for 4 years until Abacha and Abiola died in 1998.
After the annulment of the June 12 election, you remember there was NADECO. NADECO was the opposition to the military then because of the illegal annulment of the June 12 election, which was described as the best election ever conducted in Nigeria. And I believe still it is the best election ever, the most transparent, the most free and fair elections. But the military were not ready to leave the scene, and so they annulled the election. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu was among those, or I would say the backbone of the resistance of the military to truncate that transition and to continue to rule Nigeria. And people, other statesmen like Chief Anthony Enahoro, Wole Soyinka, and many of those guys formed the NADECO in order to oppose the military. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the backbone of that NADECO. and they all went into exile to, some of them in UK, some in the USA, some of these because of military were looking for them in order to incarcerate them or do something which is contrary to, because the military could not tolerate the opposition of people like him.
On the 9th of October 1998, Air Commodore Dan Suleiman, Chief John Odigye Oyegun, Bola Tinubu, and other self-exiled Nadeko chieftains returned to Nigeria.
They sacrifice a lot, because it takes a lot of sacrifice to leave your country, to go and live in exile. A lot of politicians you see around here, they have not sacrificed anything. They are just there and they are politicians, they are in office. But those who know what it is to struggle, those who know how to sacrifice a lot of their goodwill, because Bola Tinubu was not just an ordinary man. He was an accountant with Mobil Oil Company. So he was a comfortable person. He doesn't have to bother himself about coming into any struggle. He could have simply gone back to Mobil Oil and continue being an accountant there, and that would be the end of the road. That's what a lot of people in Nigeria do anyway. But he chose to fight the military by forming that Nadeko, and they continued fighting the military until the military themselves felt that enough is enough. And then the new democracy came in 1999.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu in no time joined the political process that would lead to the formation of Alliance for Democracy, a progressive party based on the same ideology that late Chief Obafemi Awolowo lived for. He later emerged as the Alliance for Democracy's governorship candidate in Lagos State. He was the only exiled pro-democracy fighter elected governor.
All thanks should be to him and all those people who resisted, whether those who did it here within Nigeria or those who had to go out because of fear of incarceration and intimidation and other bad things that the military may do to them. Because a lot of people also died at that time. A lot of people were also killed, those who opposed the military at that time. So those of them, these are real impeccable citizens of democracy, which Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, and he can challenge anybody to tell me who has better credentials than him.
The story of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's frontline fight for democracy between 1993 and 1999 was indeed a heroic one. Tinubu's fight for democracy and the drive to recognize the heroes of that struggle continued for 19 years until the federal government moved Democracy Day to June 12th, and the winner of the June 12, 1993 presidential election formally awarded late Chief MKO Abiola the highest honor in the land. This would not have happened without Bola Tinubu.
As part of the process of healing and reconciliation, I approve the recognition of June 12 as Democracy Day and invested the late Chief Abiola and Babagana Kingibe with national honors, as I did with late Chief Gani Ferhemi. The purpose was to partially atone for the previous damage done in annulling the presidential elections of that year. Today, I propose the renaming of the Abuja National Stadium henceforth. It will be called Moshood Abiola National Stadium.
At the beginning of the Fourth Republic in 1999, Governor Bola Tinubu ensured that Lagos took the front page in Nigeria for the next 8 years. Tinubu took on a new battle for true federalism and good governance. Though it was a tough one, the battle was fought on many fronts. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo ensured Lagos was punished for it by withholding the needed federal allocations, but Tinubu maintained the same fighting spirit of the pro-democracy years and won all the legal battles.
Chief Olusegun Obasanjo wittingly was aiming to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. With elder statesmen like Lato Karibo and President Muhammadu Buhari, they joined forces and made sure that the third term did not succeed.
And everybody knew what happened in Lagos State. Lagos State became a model of democracy. A lot of things Lagos State became fast in doing, especially in the issues of the rule of law. And economic development and social development in Nigeria.
Tinubu's government carried out major reforms and legacy projects despite the fact that Lagos State was virtually self-funded. Lagos State maintained an unbroken record of free education in public schools and consistently paid WAEC fees for all SS3 students in Lagos without discrimination based on religion or ethnicity. Tinubu had a cabinet of indigents and non-indigents. This is the Lagos Tinubu remodeled and handed over to his successor, Babatunde Raji Fashola, in 2007.
He's built Lagos and sustained the tempo of leadership, which is sort of something, it's one of his biggest strengths. And that has also made a lot of Nigerians believe that he'll be a good president.
And look at his work experience. Let's draw from what he has done in Lagos State in 8 years. He showed very effective leadership and administrative skills. He also showed a very good understanding of economic dynamics. If you look at the tax reforms that he instituted in Lagos State, it resulted in increased internally generated revenue. I think at the time Lagos was generating less than 1 billion IGR, but at the time Bola Ahmed Tinubu was leaving, the IGR of Lagos had shot up above 50 billion. That is very incredible and very commendable.
Tinubu was handed an investment that was dwindling in value and yielding no returns. He restructured the investments and invested more in it. Today, the returns on investments are coming in droves, making Lagos the 4th wealthiest city in Africa. Lagos is ranked 6th commercial center in Africa. The economic status of Lagos is such that Lagos gross domestic product (GDP) accounts for about 27% of Nigeria's total GDP and more than 50% of non-oil GDP. Lagos is also Nigeria's financial hub, with all major banks having their headquarters in the city.
Today, as a result of what he and his team were able to do, Lagos today is not only standing for itself. Lagos truly stands for Nigeria. What Lagos experiences today, as by extension, source or sources of pride to Nigeria, are all as a result of the handwork of the political leadership of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. To mention but a few, the biggest, largest private sector development in the world today is in Lagos. That is the Eco-Atlantic Project. The Eco-Atlantic Project came about as a result of the policies of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration and the blueprint for the growth and development of Lagos.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a true progressive that has never crossed to the right wing of ideological divide or defected across party lines. In the Third Republic, Bola Tinubu was with the Social Democratic Party, which was grounded in the progressive ideology. In the Fourth Republic, he was with Alliance for Democracy, also a progressive party. He also created the Action Congress, a progressive party which later became the Action Congress of Nigeria, yet another progressive party.
And since his return, he's been constant in that stand for democracy, which has also made him have a lot of belief and trust in the people that believe in him, especially majority, I won't say Southerners, but entire Nigeria as a proper Democrat. He's been constant in his belief. He's been constant in his method of politics and leadership. And he's a strategist, that we must say. He's actually a true politician.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the mastermind of the biggest merger of progressives in Nigeria's democratic history, the All Progressives Congress APC, in 2014.
He came into alliance with us. In 2011 we tried, but in 2013 a merger was formed, the first major political party that defeated the incumbent in 2015. So he must be on record as a veteran Democrat, a patriot that extended his arms in alliance between North and South.
It took the audacity and the stubbornness of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Nasiru El-Rufai to bring out Buhari from retirement and come and contest, because they didn't want to. They had to go and they practically forced him to come and contest for the presidency. And at that time, the whole idea was that you contest as president and Ahmed Tinubu will contest as the vice president. But political shenanigans of Nigerians now derailed that one. Yet he went on to be a good party man and continued to support the party to the best of his ability, because it's something that he, the one who is the main architect of APC. There's nobody who sacrificed so much in establishing APC like Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And it becomes to reputation, and it took power for 8 years. And now it is back again for another 8 years. So these are records that I dare anyone in Nigeria, any Nigerian politician, to have these impeccable records of deepening democracy.
Now, in his early 70s, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has become the most formidable political figure in Nigeria. This is as a result of 30 years of democratic struggle and political networking.
His choice of leadership and great men that he has chose to lead Lagos after him has also not been an individual interest. It's also seen content in great people that has ruled after him. So him being president today are those qualities that people have seen. So, and he's been constant in his word from the day he came, Nigeria will be good again. And for every Nigeria you ask, they will tell you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu would do a great job.
In that thinking, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, obviously is reaping the fruits of his labor as a pro-democracy agitator, as a pro-democracy strategist, and as a pro-democracy affirmator. That makes him unbelievably and squarely qualified for the presidency of this country, because he's labored for it. He knows the terrain, he understands democracy, he knows that the power of democracy is meant for the people, he knows the tenets of democracy, he knows the points of democracy, and he knows the ingredients of democracy, which is service delivery to the people.
Aside from being a Democrat with vast political network, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is also a bridge builder. This has seen him build and nurture relationships across Nigeria. He has improved communication and built trust throughout the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. In the build-up to the campaign leading to the 2023 presidential election, this natural leader, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, travelled and visited prominent traditional and political leaders. He got their endorsements and prayers in his quest to become president. In the course of the journey, Bola Ahmed Tinubu paid homage to the Oba of Benin, Oba Ewari II, to seek his royal blessings and inform the revered Benin monarch of his presidential ambition to contest the 2023 election. In his response, the Oba of Benin wished him well and prayed for him to be successful in his political aspiration.
We continue to have you in our prayers here.
Thank you.
Your Excellency, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your commitment to support the construction of Benin Royal Museum. It's very important for us.
As proof of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's goodwill and general acceptance across the geopolitical zones in Nigeria, a massive crowd of supporters and well-wishers welcomed him when he visited the Sultan of Sokoto to inform him of his quest to offer service as President of Nigeria. This visit to the Sultan was historic, as he was accompanied by the then President Muhammadu Buhari. Also at the height of the campaign rallies in November 2022, the Emir of Lafia, Alhaji Sidi Bage, welcomed Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he visited Lafia and said, "Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the best the country can put forward for the 2023 presidential election." This statement was a reflection of the Emir of Lafia's belief in Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a bridge builder. In his quest for the presidency, Bola Ahmed Tinubu also paid a courtesy visit to a prominent ruler in the southwest. At the Oni of Ife's palace, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi described him as a special breed. The Oni of Ife endorsed his ambition and prayed for the success of his presidential project. Among prominent Nigerian leaders who received Bola Ahmed Tinubu was former military president General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. In his last broadcast to the nation, President Muhammadu Buhari paid glowing tribute to his successor, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, describing him as a worthy successor who will lead Nigeria to the next level.
To my brother, friend, and fellow worker in the political terrain for the past 10 years, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I congratulate you on the realization of your dream, which was propelled by a burning passion to put Nigeria among the leading nations of the world. You have indeed worked for this day, and God has crowned your efforts. I have no doubt that your passion for excellence, reliance on competence, fairness in relationships, commitment to equity, loyalty to the country, and desire for Nigeria to be globally relevant would come through for you under God's guidance as you lead our country to levels higher than I am leaving. You are the best candidate among all the contestants, and Nigerians have chosen well.
I would urge Mr. President to also look at increasing the percentage of women involvement in his administration. My first visit to Kigali was an eye-opener for me to see how the president succeeded. I think his cabinet is more than 60% women, and they've allowed him to succeed. We're quite complicated, but we're achievers. You know, I'll speak for myself, I'm a great achiever, and there are a lot of women out there who would help him to succeed. And looking at how he's ruled Lagos and having a lot of women, and I know that the MD of La Mata, who has brought the real vision that he started, Fashola Wedding, and the present governor, Governor Sowolu, has concluded, has come to reality because the MD of that organization is a female. There are a lot of them. You know, I'm just referencing Lagos because those are practical things you can see that women have achieved. I also know that the woman that was energy commissioner, who is now representing United Nations, was also a lady. And if they give us a chance, Nigeria will be better great. So what I have to ask selfishly to say, let's have more women, be a part of government.
It's prepared, it's ready, it's done it in Lagos, it's done it over the years in other states by interventions. Is already known what it is to lead a nation at this time, and with his experience as a boss son and his ability to choose people, to use talent, to plug people into different areas, it is Nigerian belief that will take us to the promised land.
It is only natural, normal, and rational for you to look at me today based on my yesterday. Your antecedents always speak for you. So what Nigerians should expect, despite the enormous challenges at hand, we should celebrate the coming in of President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because you look at his antecedents. So looking at the antecedents, you will expect that he will put round pegs in round holes. So the recruitment of his aides to members of the Federal Executive Council and those to captain or spearhead the affairs of various all the MDAs will be done devoid of any sentiment. I know Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be a slave to intelligence. He is very, very submissive to intelligence. And so, wherever he sees the right brain or the right brains, he will recruit. And once you have the right team, of course, there cannot be perfection about you, but things will be right. And so Nigerians should be very hopeful and feel strong about the administration of Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, president, the 16th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that it shall all be well by the special grace of God.